I'm Miss Lorenz, and today I'm going to be talking about the final that I gave my 6th grade English students. These are the I can statements that I have set for September. I chose to base them off of 5 different reading standards, and I have 2 I can statements for each standard. And then in the right hand column it says my formative assignment or assessments, which are going to be an exit ticket, and then my summative assignments that I'm going to talk about later is a post test. For my formative assessment, I used it as an exit ticket, so when they were leaving class, I had them answer this question, and 73% got it right, which isn't awful, but it's not what I wanted. It alerts me that I need to review this information with them again, and so I also linked it to a certain I can statement with a standard, so I'm going to go back and review the I can statement that I associated with this assessment to figure out how I need to change my teaching and alter my lesson plans to fit this need and review these questions. For my summative assessment, I asked them 10 questions, and I also, each question corresponded to an I can statement. So for example, question 2 and question 7 were the lowest scores that I have. So for these, I'm going to go back and analyze the I can statements associated with them to help figure out where the problem is, and then that will help them get better scores. The plans for remediation that I have for my students with special needs is using the text-to-speech feature, which will read their text aloud to them when they have trouble reading it by themselves. I also plan on reducing the depth of knowledge that I ask in my questions. So, for example, one of them has the word identify and one of them has the word analyze in my questions. Identify is a level 1 under the depth of knowledge level, and analyze is a level 4. So these are very different, so changing them will help make the question easier for my students to understand. And then I will also eliminate one multiple choice answer so that they have less answers to pick from, and it's a little bit less overwhelming. The plans for remediation that I have based on my formative assessment. So, like I said, I had attached an I can statement to the question. The I can statement that I had attached was, I can draw conclusions from the text using supporting evidence. So, to remediate this, I would give more practice for situations that fit this standard, so give them more opportunities to practice this. I would help them by giving examples of what this process looks like. So I would do it myself to show them, and then hopefully that would make them feel more comfortable doing it on their own and expose them to what I am expecting. Also, I would probably review this one as a whole class because they did get a 73 overall, so it's something that multiple students struggled with. My summative assessment, I asked 10 questions that were multiple choice. So for this is the regular test, but then for the test with the remediations, like I said earlier, I would use the text-to-speech. I would take off an answer, and I would also change the depth of knowledge for the specific questions for my students with special needs. And lastly, the multi-tiered system of support. So the bottom tier is the main classroom, like most of the general ed kids, and then the second tier is the small group who need a little bit like more help with instruction and with their work, and then the third one, they need intensive help. So I would keep in mind this when I'm coming up with questions and things to ask them, and make sure that all of my students are receiving the remediation and the help that they need. Thank you for listening.